Welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Sabrina. I've taught first grade for the past 2 years, and I'm currently on maternity leave and working my way back into the interviewing process. I've been on a few interviews, and I kind of want to take you along to what I think is successful, starting from the beginning of just planning where do you want to work and going through the pros and cons. So I'm going to kind of do this in a presentation style so you don't have to see me just looking at you the whole time. Let's get into it. I tried to make this video including all the things that I wanted answers to or things that I was searching for when I was looking for my first teaching job. So there's two kind of themes that you will see throughout this. One, you need to be yourself. You're an amazing teacher. Even if you're a first year teacher, you have lots of skills that you can showcase, and you need to be prepared. And this is prior to the interview and at the interview itself. So let's start off with pre-interview. So maybe you're still in school, or maybe you're thinking about switching districts or schools. I recommend grabbing a paper or pencil, or maybe your iPad to take some notes. So first question you need to ask yourself: who are you as a teacher? What do you want from your school? You're going to find lots of reviews on schools, and there might be some really bad reviews, but maybe that's just something that the school was offering that didn't align with their, what was important to them. So you need to make sure that you know what is important to you. For example, my teaching style and the ability to supplement, like using the secret stories or decodables and first grade, were things that I did not want to compromise. So I went into my search knowing that. So take the time and kind of write out now, who are you as a teacher? What are things that you do not want to give up? And what do you expect from your school? Maybe that's the ability to supplement. Maybe it's not having to work after contract hours for a whole bunch of clubs. I don't know. Whatever is important to you, you need to know before you start searching and interviewing for schools. Next is, where do you want to work location-wise? I live in South Florida. There is 2 or 3 large districts where I could possibly work. We also have school choice. That means that I could work at a private school or a publicly funded charter school. That would mean very different things for my teaching and my administration. So I think it's important to know what kind of school and where do you want to work. I created an Excel spreadsheet to kind of help me go through the schools before I was even looking at job postings. And I think this is important and kind of saves you a lot of time in the long run, because you know what schools you would be a good match for. So all I did was put the school name, how far away was the school location. So like how far away it was from my house. Did I have to take a highway, or was it surface streets? What grade it was. It's not actually like first grade. We have school grades like A, B, C, if that's something that's important to you. And I also put title. We have a lot of ELLs or Title I schools. That personally doesn't bother me at all. I have worked at a Title I school for the past 2 years with a lot of ELLs, so that's not something that would hinder me from applying to a school, but it's good to know what you want and don't want. Next, you need to be prepared once you find your list of the schools that you think that you could possibly want to work for. You need to be the FBI best friend. You need to be searching all of the social media. Any websites where people can leave reviews or find pictures of, you need to find and do your research. Not only so you're prepared for the interview, but you can really find out a lot about school values and what kind of events and things they hold like that may attract you to a certain school, or maybe, not so much. This isn't going to be a good fit. So really do your research before you apply to a school to see if you and that school will be a good match. Next thing you're going to want to work on before you apply for jobs is your resume. Make sure that you match your cover letter, your portfolio. You're using neat fonts. I love fonts. Obviously, you see that through the slideshow, but you need to use those plain Jane fonts. And number one hot tip is to use the job posting keywords in your resume and in your cover letter. especially if you're going on Indeed or something like that. They're going to cycle through pulling out those keywords. And if you don't have them on your resume or cover letter, you may not even be chosen for an interview, even though you're totally qualified and may be a good fit. Next thing is with your cover letter. Like I said, make sure it matches. And also making sure that you use the mission statement from the school in your cover letter. So you want to make sure that you're explaining why you would align to their mission statement and what you could bring to the school. Hot tip, link your digital portfolio in your cover letter. Yo, I swear by this. I believe it's the reason why I got the job that I did. And I am going to maybe be making a video of my digital portfolio, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Even though it takes a lot of time, I do believe having a physical and digital version of your portfolio is to your huge advantage. So I would highly recommend doing it, and subscribe so you don't miss my other video, like I said before. Take your time and research as many questions as you can. I like flashcards, but my hot tip is make sure that you practice mock interview with family or friends, or go to a virtual job fair or a real job fair. That is where I gained my most experience. Before I was even graduated, I went to one of the districts like job fair, and it was crazy, y'all. It was the most crazy experience I've ever had. There was bells ringing, people were getting hired, everybody had their portfolios. And I sat down with a whole bunch of principals, and they gave me a lot of good feedback, and I gained my confidence about how I would answer questions. So I highly recommend that you go to a job fair, or at least practice a mock interview with your family and friends, so you don't know like what questions they're going to ask. Another tip before the interview is have an outfit ready. Or if you're like me, have multiple outfits ready so you know you have choices. Be early. South Florida, we have tons of traffic, so I would rather be there an hour early than 1 minute late. And a hot tip is don't be scared to have them clarify a question or use your portfolio. And 100% be yourself. At this last interview, I was totally myself. I made sure that I made a point to explain what I felt like my teaching philosophy was, and what you would see exactly when you came into my classroom. I don't want to have an administrator to walk into my classroom and be shocked by what I'm doing. So I made it a real point to show my passions and to hope that I would find a school that would align to. I think sometimes we feel like, we have to put all these things on and try to say all these buzzwords. But at the end of the day, I think if you have passion and you can showcase all your accomplishments, just be yourself. You're an amazing teacher, and you're going to find a school that aligns to that, and you're going to be happy. For example, with the don't be scared to have them clarify a question. I got caught off guard this last interview. I've never heard this question before, and they're like, tell me about a teacher that you admire and why. And I was like, oh, that's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. And then I went into my answer. So don't be scared to clarify. I hope these tips help.